God, look at the mess I've got here. That's normal. Alright, so I've masked up the main canopy section inside and out. So I use the masks that I had, those vinyl masks, and I needed a bit of Tamiya tape here and there. I've painted the inside black, and then I'll spray the blue so that it's nice and dark background colour. Even though I'm painting both sides, it probably wouldn't really matter. Outside will do the same as the aircraft, so I've primed grey. I'll use the splatter template with white, and I'll spray the glossy blue on that. Before I did mask that up, I just gave it a bit of a polish with Tamiya polishing compounds, a bit hazy and dusty because I've had this kit so long, and I had the lid off the kit for a while too. I was going to do it and then wasn't going to do it and so forth. Alright, so this mess we got here, there is these black lines around the in front of the gun bay, and it goes around the gun bay. It looks odd. I think they've messed up here. Anyway, you get decals for it, but it'd be better to paint them on to go with the flow of all the other markings I've painted. So you can see the line goes around there like that, which is how they've got that side, but the other side it's different. It doesn't look right. I'm gonna just do it the same as the right side because they've left out part of the line there, unless that is because of the it's possible, I guess, that they didn't continue the line there because of the US insignia, but I think I'm still going to do it, match the other side, and if it's wrong, well, so be it. So I'll just spray that in black. I'll probably use Nate black, not black. So I'll do this side first, and then I'll use that tape, go over and do the other side. Okay, finished putting on the stencil data decals. Again, I forgot to do things, so I had to paint black squares there to put in the aircraft number on the nose, because I was looking at the wrong sheet. I was using the stencil data. I was looking at this sheet, and then I forgot all about the one I was doing. Had the yellow cow, and it has the aircraft number on it, so I had to use decals for that. So I didn't cut stencils, because when I cut the stencils for the tail numbers, I had the cutter, didn't want to, I managed to get 2 out, but I printed cut heaps, and it just carved them up basically. It didn't work well. For the decals, that's on the gear leg cover. Unfortunately, I lost one of these to it ripped apart when I was trying to put it on, and then it folded over on itself. I tried to save it, but I couldn't. So this one's going just to have the number on one side, the other one won't have anything on it, but I can live with that. I've got the nose ones on, so I'll go with that. So what's left now is really to finish painting up the rockets. So to paint in the pylons, the aircraft colour, and painting the fuse wire black, and I'm just gonna get a bit of silver paint and just on a lid and just dip the nose into it just to put the silver tip on the rocket will do, and then I can give it another clear coat and they'll be done. And then it's just into finishing off with doing a wash. I'll do a wash and then can start putting it all together. I've also did the decals on the propeller, and I finished, I forgot if I showed or not, I painted the wheels up. I've got to give them a wash. So it's almost getting near the end. Right, into the final stages. I've cleaned up the antenna and the pitot. I've just super glued them to this balsa stick, just so I can spray them all in one go. And when it's time to put them on, I'll just bump off that, no worries. Just make it save a bit of time. I've painted in the exhaust. I just hand painted them in with some Vallejo metal colour burnt iron. I'm going to do some chipping. I'm going to use natural steel, AK 3rd Gen acrylic, and just a bit of sponge. I'll just use a little bottle top, put some paint in there, dip it, and then just dab it off, and then just put it on. I'm not going overboard with it. I don't usually weather heavy. It'll be just some leading edge on the step up onto the wing there, and around the edge of the cockpit, probably maybe a bit on the canopy. I'm not sure yet. Maybe at the end, after I've given it, when I do all that, I'll have to spray in exhaust stains, and I'll probably use a bit of oil paint as well, just from the oil leaking back and going along the fuselage with the airflow. Spray in some cordite staining from the shell ejection ports. I have a few weathering pencils, but I've never really had success with them. I don't know, I can't seem to work them out. I can get them on, but if you put it in, and then if you give that a clear coat, you lose the effect. So I'm not sure if you're meant to put clear coat over them. So after everything's weathered, I've given it a wash, I'll give it a flat coat or a semi-gloss coat as my final step. But I might come back in with this over some of the panels and just give a bit of scratches around the edge of the panels and see. I'll try it on a section and see if I'm happy with it or not. If not, well then I won't worry about it. I'll do the chipping first, then I'm going to do the wash. I'm just going to use, you see most of my builds I'll use this, the dark dirt wash and flooring models, because it's so easy to use and then it gives a great effect. Wipe that back, and then we'll start getting into the final stages. Okay, I've done the chipping. It's real subtle. It may not stand. I did a bit about the cowl around the engine, leading edges on the edge of the cockpit, and a step up to the cockpit, and a bit around the flaps where they move in and around the wing, and a bit on that step, and a bit on the cowl flaps. I sprayed in some gun stains, cordite staining, just subtle again, nothing heavy. And I've done the engine exhaust stains. I will use oils later. I did some staining around there. So for the guns, I do Tamiya smoke with a bit of black in it, and then once I spray the the gun stains. Then I added red brown to spray the exhaust stains into the mix. Also, excuse me, I forgot to mention when I did these walkways, and I mentioned I was going to do this side the same as this side. I changed my mind. I had a look at some builds online to reference what people do, and it looks like that, yeah, you don't cover up the insignia, so I did it like that. I just put the walkway to there and along there. So now I'm going to do the wash. Let that dry off and then we'll wipe it back. I should mention I did the propeller, I did chipping on that. And I did some on the drop tanks as well. Right, so you can see the wash is on. I've done it in two parts. So I did the underside, sat it down to dry, and then I did all the gear doors and propeller wheels, rockets, etc., drop tanks, so that the bottom dried. Then I came back and finished off the top. You can see when I did the bottom, I did the back of the fuselage, so it's starting to dry off there. So I just let that dry. It won't take long, half an hour probably. If you want to speed it up, just use a hairdryer on it and I'll dry it straight away. I'll just let it dry naturally, and I'll start cleaning up some other parts. I still have to, I remembered I still have to modify the wheel peg so that the resin wheels fit on it, so I'm going to probably do that while this is drying off. For the wheel, what I've done, I had a scrounge through my drawer, through all my plastic card parts or pieces. I found some tubing, which is fits the resin wheel into the hub. It's tight fit, which is good, which means I can put it on and position it when it's on the aircraft, so I get the flat spot down. And what I've done is, let that off, maybe, see, that's how tight it is. Anyway, I'll leave it on there now. But what I've done is kept the peg so it keeps that strength, instead of just gluing that onto the, cutting that off and gluing that on. I've put it over a sleeve so it's nice and tight. But to do that, to get that tube to fit on the peg on the wheel, I've had to drill it out. So I drilled out the hole so it fits over that peg, and in she goes, and it's going to be stronger than just gluing the tube on there. So that's fixes that problem. Okay, wash is wiped back. I'm going to give it a flat clear coat now, and then I can start adding all the remaining parts. And I also have to paint in some lights under here, which is the is it yellow, orange, red or something like that. Hang on, it is red, green, yellow, and there's lights on the wings, clear blue. I'm going to put silver in them, put the clear paint, like clear colours on top, and then I'm going to put crystal clear glue on that, and it'll dry like glass. So I have to do that. I have to, what else do I do? I add the antenna and antenna wire. I'll have to have a look at some images. I saw a couple of different setups on them. I'll see if I can find one that's similar to this, and I'll just use easy line for that, and then that'll be just about it. And I'll have a final look at this kit. Alright, there she is, all done. And to be honest, I'm glad to see the end of this build. I really didn't enjoy much of this build other than the painting. The construction, all those injection pin marks, just a nightmare. The system for the flaps on the wings, how it was set up, just I couldn't get my head around it, and it just wouldn't work for me. So with that, would I recommend this kit? Probably not, but if you want to do the Tamiya one, which I've not built, so I can't, obviously it'd be better than this, but the Tamiya kit, you're looking at another $100 plus for the kit than the Trumpeter one. And if you're going to start adding the engine, like a resin engine, cockpit interior details, that's going to add up to the total cost of your build either way. If you do the Trumpeter kit, you'll come in cheaper with the kit, but it's not unbuildable. But nothing's unbuildable. It depends on how much effort you want to put in, and do you want to tackle something that's a bit difficult. I didn't know this was going to be a difficult build until I got into it. Like I said, I had this kit in my stash for I think maybe 8-10 years. So basically when I bought this, I was sort of getting back into the hobby, and I didn't know much about brands and that. And having said that, I'm not knocking Trumpeter. They're one of my favorite companies for the subject matter they do. Just some of the early stuff can be a bit difficult, to say the least, I guess. But having it sit here now, I'm glad I didn't, because I like the finished result. The Corsair is a great looking aircraft, and even though I'm not a fan of painting blue, I was pretty happy with what I achieved with this scheme. I think the Corsair looks better in the 3-tone camo or the 2 tones, but I do like this one with the large markings on it. So I'm going to add some still photos now at the end of this. So hopefully I've shown you something if you're going to build this kit, what to look out for. Thank you for watching.